What's up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host, Marshana Dahlia, who is back from her cruise. Glad to have you back. So let's talk about...
It's like good to be back.
It's good to have you back. I know you had a good time. I want to talk about it, but we don't, for the sake of time, we don't have time to talk about the cruise. But we're going to jump right in. 90 Day Fiance, Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 5. So first of all, I just want to bring up, we have not met Ben and Mahogany yet. They are the last couple that we will be meeting, I'm assuming, next week. We're already 5 episodes
not
in.
Real. It's because Mahogany is not real. But go ahead, keep going.
It's probably that, because you're right. We've never made it this deep into a season without meeting everyone. And also, Kim and Usman were not in this episode. We will catch up with them next week for the video shoot for the video Zara. So I'm excited about that. So let's jump in real quick. Let's talk about Alina and Caleb. So the second morning, they're in bed and they're talking about the kiss that happened the night before after they got rid of Elijah from the dinner. And Alina is feeling like he's not moving fast enough. Now, I had this conversation on Twitter last night. A lot of people were saying in this situation, if the tables were turned and if Caleb was pressuring Alina to be physical, this would be a really bad situation. But since it's the other way around, it's a double standard. How do you feel about that? Because Alina wants, obviously, to be intimate right this second, and Caleb wants to be comfortable. And we do feel that that's a good thing. But since it's a man who's not giving it up to the woman fast enough, people are being mean about it.
I mean, it definitely is a double standard, right? I mean, I'm not saying that it's fair, but it is a double standard. Like, I don't want to sit here and debate whether it's right or wrong. I'm just gonna admit it is what it is. It's a double standard. That being said, though, I think the part that had all of us clutching our proverbial pearls was the lead up to what we assume would be a sex scene between Caleb and Alina. Now, this was hard for me. This was really hard for me. TLC, why? Why did you play that out in real time? Right? It was in real time. They didn't highlight it, switch the angles. So I really felt like I was sitting there looking into their bedroom. And then on top of that, they played it with no background music, no overture, no nothing. You could see and hear and feel everything. And I was just like, cameramen, leave. Now, how do I, this is just me because, of course, most of you guys know I've been on reality TV before. I have filmed a similar scene because I was on a dating show. And there's a point where you tell, get out. Who's going to tell him to get out? It was just, there was so much that happened with Caleb. I could really break down Caleb and the issues that I think he desperately needs therapy for. And remember, I'm going to stand by what I said, is that the people who meditate and they're all into chakras and stuff are the most toxic people. I stand by this. But that scene, that, and I wasn't the only one. I was on Twitter with a few people like, how do we unsee this? This is not right.
I did feel like we were watching something that we weren't invited to be a part of. I did feel like that. And it went on for too long, which made me feel like it was a shock and awe factor. And I don't like that because they're making it as though Alina is different and they should focus on that. And I don't like that. I don't like the way that they're making it to be, you should want to see this because this is strange. Because it's not strange. It's not. It's a relationship between two people. So one more thing before we talk about someone else. Do you feel like Caleb is avoiding serious relationship questions? So they met with Maria last night, who is Alina's friend, who is living in Turkey. And she asked, what were their plans on living together or getting married? And he kind of deviated away from those questions. He didn't feel like that was a question that he wanted to answer. And he also kind of did that a little bit with Elijah. Do you feel like Caleb is being dismissive to serious relationship questions? Or do you feel like he just feels like people are in his business?
Listen, you won't find me supporting Caleb too much, but on this one, I do support Caleb. Those are serious conversations that I think he is willing to have with Alina after he gets to know Alina more, let the relationship progress a little bit more organically. And he's right. These are conversations that him and Alina need to have. In no other world, in no other relationship, in no other dating scenario would we be okay with other people in the person's life being like, when you go marry my friend, what are you going to do? I get it. It's a reality show. Producers put people up to things all the time. They prep the family and the friends while they're miking them up and say, hey, what do you want to know? You should ask Caleb this. Like, wouldn't you want to know if he's really serious about your friend? So we know the producers and production wind people up, but I respect Caleb for holding firm and saying, absolutely, no, not at all. This is a conversation for Alina and I to have.
I actually agree, because if we want to be technical, this was just his second day with her physically. So these questions are very, very early. Okay, so let's talk about Memphis and Hazma. So the night after they do the deed in his mother's home, Memphis is now all of a sudden super worried about the perception that Hazma's mother has on her, which I think is very strange, because she wasn't thinking about that situation the night that it happened. And even if she was, she needed to have kicked him out of the room before the next morning, because the way she explained it was so fast, she blinked twice and it was over. So I feel like she should have basically removed him from the room, like, hey, get the heck out of here. Your mother, the last thing we want is your mother to find you here. And I felt like she let the situation happen, and now she's trying to do damage control. And I feel like it might just be too late.
It's definitely too late. She also expressed concern the night before when he was like, I'm going to come in here. She was like, no, I don't want you to do that. I don't want to, like, I'm in your mom's house. I want to respect her. So she had the sense. It's not that people don't have sense or that they don't know better. It's that they don't choose better when presented with choices, right? Yes. Hamza comes into the room. Hamza, get out. Your mother is here. When you're forging a new relationship and you're trying to get married, which is what she says she went to, Tunisia for, is that you don't want to make enemies of the relationship. And how you can avoid that, sometimes you can't help it, right? Sometimes people just don't like you. But the way you can avoid making enemies of your relationship is to respect cultures, respect tradition, respect family. These are the things that are going to at least shore up your odds. Memphis, you blew it out the park, and then you blew it out the park for what you're saying is a very rapid fire sex session. Now, here's the thing. I'm not holding Hamza responsible for that at all. You want to know why? Because he was in his mother's house like a little teenager sneaking to have sex. Now, I never snuck and had sex in my parents' house when I was a teenager. It was not my thing, but I know people who did. And what kind of sex were y'all really having? You got to be quiet. You're worried she's going to come in the door. You're worried she's going to be looking for you. So, like, he was probably not able to give you the full service experience that you wanted, because under the circumstances, how could you? What kind of quiet, dry sex must that have been?
I actually agree. Yeah, if your mother is on the other side of the wall, you're definitely not going to be giving it your all. You're not going to be performing. It's not a Formula One race. You know what I'm saying? It's not full performance. So I think that she should have definitely gotten a hotel, or at least waited, or did it anywhere else, literally anywhere else. In a car. I would approve of a car at this point. Anywhere other than where his mother is, knowing that that was her only request. She had one request since she arrived in that country, and it was to not do that in her house with her son, and she did. So I really don't know how this is going to go. And according to Memphis, she doesn't even know if she could even be in a relationship with someone who can't perform to the standards that she has set for him. So this might not even work out in the first place. So who knows? All right, guys, that's it for part one. We're going to come back for part two and talk about the rest of the craziness that happened last night. And there's a lot to cover, guys. I have pages and pages and notes. There's probably 4 paragraphs of stuff we didn't even get to talk about during this video. It's just so much. So make sure you guys are live tweeting with us every week. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Marshana Dahlia. It's the 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days podcast. We'll talk to you guys real soon.